Hey everybody, it's virus season, and your boy can't stay inside or else I'll lose my part-time job, so guess how I've been spending my days off? If you've said anything, but being a crusty weeb who sat on his bed and doesn't leave his bed and works on scripts that'll never be put into anything because of my own crippling depression and embarrassment, then you're dead wrong and really should reconsider going back to school. I mean, how many brain cells do you have at this point to be watching me? But though, it's been a very harrowing time and everything's gone to shit around the world and not even the toilet paper supply of the world can fix anything because of Karen's big privileged asshole, I have still been feeling more inspired to do things recently. And I have that to thank for my terrible timing when it comes to watching older anime. I recently watched BECK, or Mongolian Chop Squad as it's called in the States, because the States have no idea what a good band name is. It's this good anime that was released in the US around 2007, I believe, and it has this overarching theme through its main character's development that I can't help but crack jokes at, and also make it more depressing than it needs to be, and use it for my own personal gain, because of course I do that. So, come around, all you people, take your seats, and also to you ingrates, trim your fucking neck beards, because tonight we'll be wolfing down the reason why being a simp can make you a better person. Oh, by the way, to all you incels out there, I'll be talking about the anime. This is a very good show, and I'd like to respect it as such by actually buying the manga. So, if you are going to get mad over the inaccuracies between the anime adaptation and the manga, I request you grab your #1 beta male cuck shirt and get the hell out of my audience. So Koyuki, our 14-year-old protagonist, has led a pretty normal life until now, which has been boring at times, but he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, which is very common for people his age. I think we've all gone through that. But due to this, he also finds himself following people blindly into obviously bad situations, as we literally start off with his only friend, Virgin Supreme pedo-looking 40-year-old teenager guy who's literally failed 40 years in a row, dragging him to go take images of girls on the swim team. Specifically of Koyuki's old friend, Izumi Ishiguro. Now, with this all being said, I should probably mention that little boy Koyuki over here really doesn't have that much of a spine. Okay, he has a spine, but it never fully developed in the womb, and now it's just the weakest bone in his body. Why do I say this? Because literally the next day, Izumi pretty much asks him, no, she tells him that they'll be going out bowling the next night. She literally phrases it as a question, Koyuki doesn't answer, and she takes it as a yes and tells him to come, mandatorily. Izumi could honestly beckon Yukio, which is Koyuki's real name, over for his daily 80th dick flattening session, where there is nothing but blood and tears in this young boy, and he would still come over there because he's a virgin. Literally, the only time this man stands up or talks back to anything or anyone is when a cute girl is being attacked for having more balls than him and standing up for her friends, or when Frankenpooch is getting his ass harassed by a bunch of kindergartners with sticks. Wow, kids really suck. Hey Nick, can you remind me to go punch some kids later?
Okay, sir.
Thank you! Point of the story so far, Koyuki is a beta male and is desperately trying to find himself, to the point he'll honestly follow anyone or anything into literally anyone or anything. Literally, when he runs after Frankenpooch's owner, Ryusuke, who is just a really popular e-boy on TikTok, after Ryusuke pretty much pulls a fake gun on a bunch of American chat types and is left in the garbage, basically Koyuki finds him like that, and he's not even attacked, and he starts crying. But yet again, that could probably be because he just noticed his spine gave out, and he can no longer act as if he shouldn't go see a professional about this. And I can only imagine the pain he feels due to that. But following this e-boy as his main source of influence may not be as bad as we think so far. If anything, it could actually probably get him somewhere, even if it doesn't completely cure his crippling simp disease. With this all being said and set in motion, Koyuki is finally actually listening to rock music because Izumi has issued in his My Chemical Romance and Linkin Park phase, and now he actually wants to feel the strings in places a 14-year-old probably shouldn't want to feel the strings at. But oh no, guess what? There's another romance option coming across the horizon, and she doesn't even know kanji. You know how in Japanese media, specifically in anime, there's always that one half-American chick that does modeling work and goes to school in Japan, but also really sucks at reading kanji? Well, say hi to Maho Manami. Maho Manami? Screw it, Maho Manami, that's funnier. She's Ryusuke's little half-sister, and is shown to be an outstanding singer when we are first shown her on stage, and she is also very insecure in her ability to read a language she wasn't raised around, by the example of her completely dunking on grammar Nazi Koyuki when they first meet, when they are better introduced to each other later by Ryusuke, mainly as an attempt to get Maho off of his back so he can go do important band stuff. Maho decides to take this insufferable Shinji clone to go meet her friends at a burger joint, and her friends are a bunch of materialistic valley girls talking about dream boys who go to the same private school as her, which is just filled with a bunch of girls stealing Chad actor types who have about as much of a spine as Koyuki. But trust me, people, while these men have depleting spines, this solid good boy right here has a growing spine, even though he is totally inept. But I understood Koyuki here. I get what it's like to be an awkward kid wearing a Virgin Supreme shirt surrounded by a bunch of people talking about things like money, cars, and dream love interests, who would rather care about shallow things that don't cut too deep, and only focus on things society perpetuates, leading them to feel boring and very superficial to people like me and Koyuki, even if they're more than that, just at face value. So, Koyuki essentially eats himself out of there as fast as he can, because, why wouldn't this kid do that? But instead, someone actually chases after him, and not just for the e-boy he associates himself with. Maho decides to hang out with Koyuki. For Koyuki, she wants to know him and get him to pledge $5 to her fucking Twitch stream because she pretends to be a 14-year-old e-thought who can sing on there instead of the actual 18-year-old who just graduated from the American school system literally last year that she actually is. Genuinely though, this is the first time we truly see a prolonged amount of time with Koyuki alone with someone who he has interests in, who shares a mutual interest in him back. It's honestly a cute couple scenes. Maho reveals that she has a hard time making things work and that her dad may have a history of being abusive, which is not actually talked about a lot after this point in the anime, but though she knows she can sing, she knows she's not special, and finds more interest in films, in directing, and more importantly, acting. And if anything, she wishes she could have just stayed back in New York. When I first saw this, I genuinely liked it. She is so obviously the main romance interest, but she is not just there for that. Maho is not some pixie dream girl coming to cure this teenager's fetus of a spine, and she's also not yelling fuck after every response Koyuki gives her. She is this real girl and is a real person who feels real things, who just wants a genuine friend and is intrigued with Koyuki and is not afraid to act like that. Honestly, something that Koyuki has needed his whole entire life. Someone who will run after him, not watch him leave, and show him that he is worth people's time. Even if he is weak-spined enough to go ahead and make a deal on getting naked for his pedo swim instructor if he loses a Battle of the Bands event. But you know what? Screw that. That night, with the right people in his life, he finally sings and shows how good he really is, and Maho finally tries to stop getting him to pledge $5. This is a staple in their relationship, and the thing that makes Maho honestly see and want the best for Koyuki. She tries to get Ryusuke to actually put down his phone from TikToking for a second so he can take Koyuki into his new band as the lead vocalist, but instead, this man chooses the latter and chooses his delinquent friend who he owes money to, Chiba. Because why not? But I will say this, he does give Koyuki an antique guitar to start practicing with. That basically ruins their friendship in the end because you remember Koyuki's spine? It makes him extremely clumsy and unbalanced and oh, fuck, the guitar is dead. So during this choral, Koyuki helps his pervy swim instructor for some cash to get the guitar fixed and gets a bully who tricks a delinquent into torturing him due to a scuffed guitar one of his goon friends pushed Koyuki down in while he was playing and scuffed the guitar with. Also, this bully views himself as an alpha Chad type, when really, this man is such an insecure beta cuck. He gets what he fucking deserves though! But around that summer, Maho comes over before Koyuki has to go play at a summer festival in a battle of bands with his swim instructor's old band. She tells him that she's been listening to him play each night and that she's glad he's getting better. But they go to the festival together, and when the vocalist pretty much drinks out his liver, it leaves Koyuki and Maho as the lead vocalists of the band. And it then leads to the naked pool scene because of course they lost the concert, it was rigged. And honestly, the swim instructor is so done with Koyuki being #1 virgin, he's gonna do anything to see this 14-year-old get laid. Did I mention he's still 14? This boy is still 14. Later on, Maho would actually go on to fix the relationship between Ryusuke and Koyuki. But it's only after Koyuki finally gets the guitar fixed and the manipulated delinquent breaks it. Wow, this long boy never really gets a break, does he? But Maho can actively fix this at any time. Understand that. Maho knows she can, but she sees how important earning back the respect of Ryusuke is to Koyuki, even if he doesn't forgive him, even if he doesn't take him back as a friend, even if he kicks him back out of his little shed of a house after he's screwing a girl for the 80th time. Again. And she respects that, and lets Koyuki go for that until it proves painful and pointless to watch. This is a key aspect I want to hit on in this video. The real point. This is the real reason why Koyuki and Maho are so good together, and why Koyuki even gets a spine by the end of the anime. They take each other for more than their face value, and they look deeper, and though she looks like a 20-year-old, and it sounds like I'm approving of statutory rape and grooming, don't worry guys, 13 age is the legal age of consent over in Japan. Trust me, I did my research guys, don't. Okay, is our audio on track again, Nick? I swear to God, if this crap keeps on happening, I'm throwing you into the void with every other stagehand, you hear me? Okay. Now, to all of you degenerates who are about to scream at me saying, "Oh, how could you say this is healthy? It 100% isn't. There are totally times that they are just unhealthy little teenagers trying to get their rocks off." Understand that I already know that, and understand that I know that at times their relationship is about as docile as a Coke decaying the last tooth in the hick of an uncle you have's head. There are multiple times you see the two become envious, mostly imposter Shinshin over here, where you are just staring at the screen and you're hurting because you know the other one's in pain and they're not talking about it. Now, this makes sense. Instead of talking about things head on, we tend to hide things at first, trying to make things work, only to make decisions that aren't good in response, only really learning from things after our first real relationship. And if you've never accidentally hurt someone you love, feel lucky, you normie, because most of us do, and it's unavoidable in life. The first time this happens, it causes a chain reaction in the anime. You remember that girl stealing Chad actor I was telling you about, who pretty much goes to Maho's school? Well, his name is Yoshido, and his dad obviously didn't give him a small loan of $1 million based off of how incel he gets whenever Maho tries to spend more time with other men than him. And, you know, Koyuki sees them bonding together and how close they are after him and Maho's first kiss. And it makes him ponder if the kiss meant anything, or if it was just as deep as a urine-filled kiddie pool that you know your mom made you swim in when you were a child. You know, Koyuki's been subbed for $5 for a while now. How could she just obviously go for this Chad type? Instead of wanting to talk about it as well, Koyuki would rather just say screw this and go back to being a simp for Izumi again. Now, in this time frame, it's been a year since the Battle of the Bands at the Summer Festival, and the nude scene in the pool, and on this day, Koyuki would rather sneak into the same pool with Izumi, reconnect, and possibly get laid at a pool, because having sex at a pool in anime can never go wrong. Oh, wait. But the two genuinely talk, and Izumi pretty much says that she didn't go for Koyuki the way she needed to, and now he's found someone better, and she wants the best for him. But Maho sees all of this out of context, and she is obviously devastated. But of course she runs away. Jesus Christ, is everyone here just trying to recreate the message of the Shinji train scene? Face your problems, you 15-year-old cucks. You should obviously know how to have a healthy relationship at this point in your life.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Thankfully though, Izumi actually has balls and fixes the relationship. If we want to go further into how toxic this relationship has been, we could get to the point where Koyuki and Yoshido literally pull the biggest simp competition. They bet in the finale at this big concert that whoever Maho goes to see, because they'll be playing at the same time, that's who'll end up with her, and the other one pretty much has to fuck off and die. The edge is so bad when watching this, and honestly, I'm left feeling dissatisfied. But Though the ending can get very simpish and cringy with the bet, the last part of the anime finalizes Koyuki's development. All the other times, Koyuki plays on stage solely from the inspiration of his friends and other bands, and more importantly, Maho. He's never put his foot down and gone on stage in front of an audience by himself believing he wasn't good enough. But this time, Koyuki gets on stage by himself, last performance or not, Maho or not. He was going to be himself, enjoy what he did best, and entertain the crowd that awaited him. All this time, Koyuki has been a spineless boy who allows everyone to cuck him for having his own way of thinking, decision making, and pretty much keeps him from having anything to stand firm in. But if it wasn't for Maho, her letting him figure things out for himself while still subtly pushing him to do what he loves, he wouldn't be here. And isn't it fitting that the song they play with the most people in the audience of Stage 3 is Slip Out? A song made by Koyuki, playing the guitar, lyrics originating from a circumcision that his swim instructor had, and an overbearing ethot who is intertwined with the worst plot in this anime. The best of the lyrics go like this. I'm gonna make my coming days to be filled with laughter and joy. I let myself down that I'm more cruel than I thought I would be. I'm just a loser who ends up by caring for my soul. I don't give my heart to no one because I don't want to waste my time. I try to love this loneliness, to slip out of this lonesome hole. Sorrow is what I hate, but it's grown my sensations. Regrets taught me how to make any hard decisions. Peace is always by my side, but I've never felt it once. Love it is not the word, only for the sweet romance. Well, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared to death, and I'm scared to keep going on my way. Well, I'm scared, scared, scared to death, and I'll tell myself I'm special till the end. Recalling my torn, broken, aching heart of these long days and all the memories I wanted to forget for making leaps, recalling, breaking, aching, crying, making sure to me, and I take all and grin at my future on the way. The song is a good reflection on what all Koyuki's done to get to this point. He was this aloof guy with no direction and followed people recklessly, trying to find his way and believing he wasn't truly worth anyone's time. He was this scared kid, afraid to speak up, afraid to take charge, afraid to be himself, afraid to go against the majority, instead running away from everything and having no one run after him. But then Maho ran after him, for the fun of it at best, and she showed him that he was worth something to someone. And yes, it wasn't perfect, and they are hard to watch at times, but she and him break each other's hearts, mend each other's wounds, and push each other forward. But Koyuki finally gets on stage, and he is terrified for the future. He is terrified of where the fate of the band will be left. He is scared to death if Maho isn't even in the crowd or not. But he says screw that, and he stands up there and sings
I was wrong, it's actually the same Dying Breed song this boy's been singing this whole entire time, just a little bit more Blink-182 if you know what I mean.
Earth. He's scared to death, but he is going to take his future. Anything is better than where he was before. And yes, he does get Maho in the end, and you could say he learned nothing, because he denies every music offer put in front of him, only wanting to play with the rest of BECK, wanting what he once had. But that's just it. Koyuki is saying no. If Koyuki had been approached by someone, anyone in the beginning of the anime who had more money or quote-unquote power than Ryusuke, he probably would have gone with them. But instead, he sits in front of Leon Sykes and he says no, so casually as he walks away. And for once, he goes out of his way to do what he thinks is right, which is get the band back together. And he does. Slip Out is about finally putting your foot down, wanting to do better from your past, and to finally accept the future coming for you and take it by the reins and guide your own destiny. To cut off your foreskin at the age of 45 if you want to. Now we get to the part where I make an embarrassing self-insert where I'm terribly open, right? Well, yes and no. I will be completely honest and say I do not share in Koyuki's drifting and easygoing nature where he has no idea what he wants to do with his life. I've always been someone who knows what he wants to do and does what is needed of him, even saying no when I should say yes because I was too scared of getting quote-unquote better, and as well, while doing that and saying no, being fully aware that if I said yes, I would grow as a person and get better because I knew it wouldn't cure how numb I felt inside. I will say, I understand what it's like to feel as if you're not worth anyone's time, though. As if you don't deserve to be acknowledged. As if your future won't be as bright as what you think it would be. And, in that case scenario, what's the point? Shouldn't I just give up? Because even when you try so hard, everything falls apart. Even when you finally think you've gotten somewhere, you make the littlest slip up, and you realize you've gotten nowhere and you've lost everything. But it takes meeting the right people and genuinely staying committed, failure or not. And even when your plan comes tumbling down on you, to get back and make a new one. To try again. Even when it is so hard to, and it's so painful to. To realize where you've started and that you want to do so much better than that. And that you can at least do yourself the decency of doing that. Of at least doing yourself a decency of giving yourself a chance. In high school, I hesitantly joined the GSA, and I'm gonna be honest guys, the LGBTQ plus community full of teenagers in the South is messy. Everyone has been in everyone or has dirt on each other, and it sucks, and that really reflected on the mentality of the club. It's like a real-life version of a CW teen drama, and trust me guys, I hate it. My first 2 years in the club, it was sloppy and crumbled in on itself. My friend, who I've talked about before on this channel, told me one day that I should try and start up the club again, and if I was leading it, that he'd come. And I had this one really great counselor at my school who really loved the club and liked my ambition and pushed me to go for it, and if I did, she said she'd back me up on it. So I did, and in junior year, I started up the club from scratch with a couple friends, made a plan, and made sure we were organized. And I'm gonna be honest, when looking back on it, that was the first time I ever ran into something confidently with no regrets, with the reins in my hands. Now, was it filled with drama? Yes, but not as much as the other years, I'd argue. Did I ruin some friendships with how seriously I took the club, and the drama that I caused within it? Yes! Even though it had its detriments, I didn't care. I wouldn't have changed it for a second. Look at all the kids we were able to help who actually felt safe in that club. We were worth people's times. I realized if anything, I could do anything and I could actually see it through and grow from it. But if it wasn't for my friend pushing me to do something and seeing what I could do, and if it wasn't for my counselor who genuinely thought I could lead a club and stuck with me, letting me figure things out while doing it and reminding me that my quote-unquote soul was more than just some nihilistically pessimistic and edgy teenager, I don't think I'd be here making these videos right now. I don't think I would have even realized I can make people laugh and be open. I would have just sat around and rotted away, believing I was just going to continue unintentionally hurting people and being an awkward sack of crap who came from a broken household. If I hadn't been shown that I could do any of this, I would have never tried to get better. That's why when I say you can do so much better than what you think and that you at least owe yourself the decency of trying, I say that coming from being that petty, dramatic queer kid who didn't see a future for himself and believing he'd end up just like the poison that made him. No, screw it, everyone deserves the decency in getting a chance to move on and get better, no matter what part of your life you're in and no matter how far gone you think you are. No matter what, we deserve the chance to get out of this old skin, slip out of this lonesome hole. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I hope that it will help you to do a better job.
It's that time again where I tell you guys why I haven't been around for like 4 months or so. I don't know when I'm uploading this. Oh my god. And I'm going to make an excuse again for why I've been gone. So I guess 1, I'm lazy. 2, I work a retail job, and did I mention this virus is a thing? And due to that, my hours have skyrocketed through the roof. 3. Nah, it's just laziness. It's mainly just laziness. I mean, I would like to do something with YouTube, and I know the first step to that is being consistent, but also with that being said, oh god, it's so hard. Okay, but moving on. I'm so glad you guys made it to the end of the video. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you did, you have my sincere gratitude, because oh my god, this is some sad cringe that I'm posting, but thank you anyways. If you guys want to know what else I've been working on, hopefully by this time I'm going to have a video uploaded to the old Cynical Degenerates channel. We try to make a podcast, and we have a couple videos about that, so if you guys want to go check that out, go ahead, check that out. I have a link to, like, Cynical Degenerates somewhere in the end screen, so go check that out, I guess, even though, like, it's also cringe. With that being said, I dropped the gaming video. The gaming video is not happening, but I will say I do have another script in the making that I have finished, and I am probably, at this point, with the fact that this is uploaded, going to be editing. You know, so hey, I'm on a roll of some sorts, even though the world is burning in on us. So, yeah, with that all being said, I hope you all have a good night, good day, wherever you are, and overall, good luck.